So this video is going to be sort of a public service announcement because behind me is an Audi Q7, and it really exemplifies a lot of the problems with the PPF industry right now. And so from professional to consumer, I want to show you the difference between what makes a really not good installation versus what makes a good one. We're not in the business of bashing our competitors. I'm not going to name who this is, but this is somebody local to us. We're starting to see that people are being turned off to the idea of paint protection film because of installations like this. And even a lot of our comments on our YouTube videos and things, people saying paint protection film isn't worth it, it looks like crap, they damaged my paint when they installed it, all this kind of stuff. And really it bothers me because my business relies on people putting out good quality work so that people want the products that we have. I've got about 35 employees and all of them and their families rely on my business being successful. And I think a lot of that starts with not ruining the reputation of the product. So it bothers me enough to make a video and show you this. This Audi got a full front end installed. So that means the entire hood, the fenders, the front bumper, and the mirrors. And this is just, like I said, just a couple minutes down the road from us. And this is a shop that advertises that they do paint protection film professionally. On top of that, they charge this customer $400 more than we would have charged. I'm not sure if the customer even knows what product is on here. I doubt that it is xpel. If you start to look at it, you'll notice some problems. Number one, there is no film on the hood. So it turns out, after trying it a few times, they told the customer, hey, we just couldn't get this hood done, it was too hard. As a professional installer, this is one of the easier hoods that we do. I could train somebody to do this hood in 1 to 2 days. So the fact that they couldn't get the hood done shows me that there is absolutely zero training happening. They're handing somebody film and a squeegee and saying, hey, put this stuff on. It doesn't work that way. It would be like handing a carpenter a saw and some wood and saying, build this beautiful dining room table. It doesn't happen that way. It takes years to get good at it. Paint protection film is very skilled. You have to spend time. It takes years to get really, really excellent. On the hood, you can see that they tried, because they cut the paint all the way along the back, and there's cuts all over it, really deep ones over there. They also cut the rubber, so they must have been practicing with their knife there when they were doing either the fender or the hood. They didn't wrap these edges on the fender. Super inconsistent cut. This edge is hanging over enough that it's gonna peel, but not enough that it's wrapping the whole way down. But here it's not hanging over at all. It's not wrapped. So nothing here is wrapped. The front corner, I'm not really sure what's going on here. They trimmed it weird, and I don't know. By the way, they ceramic coated this car afterwards. So whoever ceramic coated it had to ceramic coat over top of this and look at it and decide that this was acceptable to leave their shop and charge a customer for. Come on. Over here, the most susceptible part to chips is probably this area, and they stopped their film right here. The corners are peeling, the whole bottom is peeling. It looks like somebody cut this with a butter knife. I'm sure the paint is cut underneath here. The fender flare doesn't wrap anywhere. It's hanging over here, and you can see it's already collecting dirt. This install is not very old. And all of this area is completely exposed. It completely defeats the purpose of paint protection film. They didn't even bother doing this piece down here. I consider this part of the fender. Maybe they consider that the rockers. And the mirrors, of course, they're no good either. Giant gaps, horrible cuts everywhere. Perhaps the most fascinating part of this entire install is this. There's a cut down the entire length of the fender. This is 2 pieces of film. The other side's even worse. 2 pieces of film, the cut just like, I mean, they didn't even try to keep it consistent. It's like a ½ inch down here. Bubbles up in the front, nasty cuts back here. Same story on the mirror and the fender flare. No coverage up here, and it's already puckering. And then the bumper, bumpers are the hardest part, of course. Every edge is hanging over. Nothing was heat sealed at all. This is all gonna peel off because water's gonna get in there, dirt's gonna get in there. And then they just decided to cut it or something here. Maybe they ripped it, maybe they slipped with the knife. Nobody knows. They just laid that right back down, no problem. Every edge over here is hanging too, same story. Alignment, horrible. This they cut into 2 pieces for no reason. Oh, and overlapped the seam. So this is an example of the absolute worst installation I've seen from a shop that charged thousands of dollars for this. It is robbery, it is disgusting, it is ruining our industry, and respectfully we ask, if you're a shop that does this, just stop. You're damaging people's cars. Luckily for them, this customer is overly reasonable. He hasn't gotten a refund yet. They have to check with their subcontractor to see if they can get refunded before they'll refund him, which is unbelievable. And he's not going after them to repaint the car. So kudos to him for being a nice guy. If this was my shop, I'd be getting sued. So let me show you what a good installation looks like. So this is my Hellcat. My cars do not get special attention. In fact, I think it's the opposite. Kind of the shoemaker's kids have no shoes. My cars are usually the ones that are rushed in and out. We don't do touch up, whatever. The guys did a great job on this though. You can look at some of our edges. our film ends, you probably can't even see it on camera, right along that edge. We wrap all the way up here. We got our corners and our alignment nice and tight. And there's some things that do need touched up as I'm looking here. Inside, underneath this A-pillar, we do need to trim that. And again, we're not perfect. I redo a piece here and there, but since the day I've been installing, I have never put out work like that, ever. Wraps all along our back edges. This is what a good install looks like. Let's check out the front bumper. By the way, the fender's in one piece. There's no cut down the length of the fender. The hood is actually done because we know what we're doing and we can get film on a hood. In fact, it's one of the easier pieces on the car. Our alignment is beautiful. Our relief cuts line up exactly where they're supposed to on body lines. We're right underneath the headlight. We wrap all these little edges. We go in and modify all of the patterns to make sure that even if the pattern fits well, we want it to fit better. We want better coverage, so we extend edges and kind of tweak the pattern so that you're not just getting the xpel pattern, you're getting xpel pattern plus blackout edited pattern, so that, you know, all of our techs do that at every location. Our seams line up nice and tight where there does have to be a seam. I showed you guys that just to show you there are people out there charging full shop professional price for this stuff that have no clue what they're doing. Do your research before you spend thousands of dollars on this. Ask to see an installation. Do some research on Google reviews from the customer service standpoint. If you do have a problem, because every shop will inevitably, do they handle it? We will absolutely go out of our way to make sure that everything is right for you. Mistakes happen. Like I said, we've got about 35 employees. Sometimes somebody will damage something or break a window when they're tinting a car. I mean, we're tinting 30, 40 cars a day. That can happen once every 6 months. We'll make sure that everything is taken care of as good as it can possibly be if you work with us. Other shops oftentimes don't hold up to that end of the deal. So thank you guys for watching. I hope it didn't come across as too much of bashing or negative, but I just want you to understand there are great shops and there are not great shops. Make sure you do your research so you end up at a great one.